So then, when we come to back what I said at the beginning, a lot of people when they complain or they say that the most challenging thing is managing people, or what they hate the most is managing people. It's logical, right? Because people have their own personalities, have their own ways of working. And there's a lot of clashes, right, of personality, especially when, as I said, you put everybody into a kind of a high pressure, high demand, tough situation. That's where like everything goes much more deep, let's say, than or conflict is faster to erupt than in different contexts that are calmer, or people aren't so shoved together. So that applies to, or there aren't so many like cultural conditions that are complicating things as well, because teams are often multicultural. There's clashes of culture. There's often different religious beliefs, different cultural beliefs, different whatever, different styles that are approved or not approved, different ways of working, that maybe somebody works in one way and it drives somebody else crazy. All of these things that are normal in management, but you have to learn how to deal with them. And I talk about this in the course on that I called, with a little bit of irony, which is down below, surviving incompetence, right? Because it's understanding that if you expect everybody to be perfect and everybody to work in the way that you want them to work in, then that's going to just set you up for disappointment and frustration, because you as a manager should set your expectations to, okay, I've got to manage a lot of different personalities, a lot of different cultures in very tough circumstances, and I need to learn how to do that. You can't expect everybody to perform in the same way, and you can't expect everybody to work in the way or behave in the way that you like, right? So expecting that is part of management and learning how to deal with it. But when it comes to problems within your team, or you and your team, or your team and other teams, or you and other managers, you need to really nip it in the bud, right? The last thing you want in humanitarian work is additional problems, right? And that comes back to what I said in the first thing, of making sure you build a strong, effective team that's part of a well-oiled machine and not an obstacle or a hindrance, right? So your first duty, let's say, is to make sure that your team are motivated, performing as well as they can, and as happy as they are, and working well with others. This typical practice of making my team into my team against others is just counterproductive and basically very immature, right? So don't do that, right? You're trying to build a team that is and you as a manager to work well with others. That is the attitude, right? So avoiding typical habits of criticizing other managers, or complaining about other departments, or complaining about other team members, or complaining about your boss, all of that which we are all guilty of, should be avoided, right? Because it just creates tension, it creates noise, and it distracts people from what they should be thinking about. It demotivates, and it's just basically a waste of time. Is not it better to construct than to destruct, right? So you want to build a team that has healthy attitudes. You want to nip in the bud any negative attitudes, or any resistant attitudes, or any inter-team, in your own team, conflicts that there may be. And sometimes when we're like international staff, we're completely oblivious of tensions that may be in our own teams or amongst different teams that are national staff, because, as I said, we're oblivious and often clueless of what goes on. So we don't deal with them because we don't even know, right? So you need to know these things. You need to observe, you need to talk to people, you need to understand what's happening, who gets on with who hates who, whatever. You need to understand the politics of wherever your managerial context is, right? And also your own relationship within the managers, right? If there's managers that don't get on with each other, or criticizing, or somebody comes to you and criticizes some other manager, or criticizes the boss or the capital or whatever, don't get involved in that. Try to also take on a more productive role in saying to the person, look, I understand you're frustrated. What can we do about it? How can we work together? And have that kind of can-do attitude that builds a healthier working environment, because we're all responsible for contributing to healthy working environments. There's nothing worse than a toxic working environment, believe me, nothing worse. We've all had experience of toxic working environments, toxic teams, toxic bosses, right? And as a manager, you have, and as a team member, you have the responsibility, I would say, to not engage in that, and to engage in countering it by cultivating an attitude of teamwork, team spirit, collaboration, and motivating others, right? Simply saying, hey, well done on that, or hey, you did a really good job on that. Looking for the positive things in people. I'm not saying have a positivity, everything's great attitude. No, I'm saying don't get involved in gossip. Don't get involved in criticism. Don't start criticizing people because you don't know what they're going through. Don't. Try to be collaborative, try to be helpful. And if you have somebody who is conflictive or argumentative, and you've tried to understand them and you've tried to talk to them, then you need to push that up a level, because that will become impossible. And there are people who, for whatever reason, are difficult to manage, and I deal with that in the course below, Surviving Competence, in the part where sometimes people, for whatever reason, sometimes it's mental health, sometimes they're just burnt out, they are not easy to work with, and then you have to kind of work around them. But in general, most people want to be part of a healthy work environment where they feel good at the end of the day, not feel crappy. They feel that they're doing a good job. They're getting inputs that make them feel that they're doing a good job. They feel that they're helping people, helping population, helping towards that goal, right? And you as a manager, in conjunction with all the other managers and your boss, need to be promoting that type of healthy workspace. With managerial, when you're in a managerial role, it comes with responsibility. That's why managers get paid more. And part of the responsibility is contributing to building a healthy team and building a healthy workplace. So if you have conflict in your team, if you have power games in your team, you need to stop that. And you to really learn how to deal with that and get rid of those things, because you just get in the way. Yeah. More on that in another course that's completely just dedicated to how to manage team dynamics. But you will find in the course on Surviving Incompetence, most of the things are dealt with there, with strategies on how to deal with each of those. Thanks for listening. Ciao, ciao.